Proximity attracts a luxury life. This is something that's so important for you to know as a woman. Your life is based on how far can you see. If you want to change your life, you need to make sure that you can see very, very far. There are 3 types of proximity every single woman needs to practice and know about in her life if she truly wants to become that girl. It's so important to understand that what you see and what you hear determines the life that you have. And you need to make sure that you are seeing and hearing very, very well, very, very far in order to actually have a luxurious life. The 3 types of proximity that every woman needs to practice are quite simple, but you need to be very intentional with all 3 of them. In recording this, I realised that my physical proximity, I need to up my game because life can always get better. I have a very great life, but life can always get better. That might be the same for you. So buckle up, listen, and let's practice some physical proximity. Physical proximity is basically what you are seeing and what you are hearing in the real world. This is really key. This is why I also don't believe in quote unquote management. I'm going to go for the cheapest options. I'm not going to go to the expensive stores. I'm not going to fly business class. I don't believe in that. Because physical proximity, your exposure to luxury, your exposure to walking around that expensive apartment, your exposure to sleeping in that 5-star hotel, your exposure to flying business class, your exposure to having a Euro summer, your exposure to going to China, to Thailand, to South Africa, to New York, to Dubai is going to enable you to have more wealth. You see there, firstly, let's just take travel as physical proximity. Your exposure, and it has to be the right exposure, will make you come back and realise you need to up your money game, will make you realise that actually there are things that you need to change. The more you try to manage and limit and tighten money and you have a closed fist over it, you are limiting your exposure. Your hand is also closed to having better experiences in life. And I'm not sitting here saying spend money that you don't have. That will never, ever happen. I do not run bad girl maths. Spend the money that you have and start to inch your way to better exposure. It is your job to bridge the gap between your current reality and where you want to go. Where you want to go right now is based on your limited exposure, your limited physical proximity to more. Expose yourself. You know when the girlies say go to the 5-star hotel to meet men? Absolutely not. Go to the 5-star hotels so that in your city, so that you can have exposure. I will never forget around 5 years ago, I was in, I think it was Harrods, and I watched a woman pay about £8,000 in cash for a bag. That flipped a switch for me. Firstly, I had to be in Harrods, exposure. It's a normal thing for me, but me seeing her pay for that in cash just flicked a switch. Proximity and exposure. Go to the expensive art galleries. Go to have at least once a month. What is your next level restaurant? Go and sit in that restaurant by yourself, enjoy the meal, drink the wine, have the sushi, have the fish, have the steak, have the dessert. That proximity will change your life. And you need to write on your list, if you want to get good at physical proximity, I recommend you do something once a week. Once a week. It doesn't always have to involve spending money. You can go once a week to the most expensive neighbourhood in the country that you live in. You can also decide once a week, I am going to go to the most expensive grocery store, and you only need to take 20 naira, $20, £20, whatever that gets you, it gets you. But that exposure will change your mind and enable you to decide to actually make more money. Exposure to luxury is rewiring your brain subconsciously. So physical exposure is really important. I also encourage you, if you're not a woman right now, if your finances do not permit you to regularly travel, you need to be very intentional about taking one luxury trip at least a year. And this is why one of the mantras over here is make more money. God first, make more money. Make more money. If you're saying to me that's not financially possible for you, go and make more money. And you do that trip to the best of your financial ability. So that's physical exposure. The next, and I would say the most important thing, is spiritual exposure. Spiritual proximity, Well, it should be exposure and proximity attracts a luxury life. That's going to be the video title. Spiritual proximity. The closer you are to God, the less limits you have on your life. Your current limitations about what you can earn, what you can do, where you can travel, how you can travel, is based on the fact you are not in the shelter of the Most High. I promise you, at one point I thought 6 figures was something. I now know 6 figures is nothing. 6 figures is nothing. And I do not say that in an ignorant way, but darlings, if you want to come and argue with me that 6 figures is something, you haven't spent enough time with God. Firstly, God owns everything, so 6 figures can't be that. It cannot be the top limit. It is not the top limit. And proximity and exposure in the spiritual realm with God will make you realize there isn't a limit on what you can achieve in your life. You can be someone. There is a woman who owns 100 apartments. That can be you. Why not you? There is also, I recently read an article about one of the world's richest women in Africa, and she started to build her wealth from 41. And this is for my girlies. If you're at the 30 point and you think life is over, it's really not over. There's a woman who became a billionaire starting from 41, oil and gas. It's important for you to have spiritual proximity and exposure because God doesn't have limits. I promise you, I don't have a cap on my wealth. I think before I used to, but I don't have a cap on my wealth. I'm okay with becoming disgustingly rich. Do you know why? Because God owns everything. And if I'm a daughter of the Most High, it is well within my capacity to become disgustingly rich. And maybe you need to spend more time with the Most High because you need to take the limits that you have on you. Life is fully spiritual, and you have to look at what your mother has achieved, what your grandmother has achieved, and what your great-grandmother has achieved. That's the spiritual limit on your destiny. Take that spiritual limit off and fully know that you will and you shall have more. Whatever limits and stories that the world has told you about the luxury life that is not possible for you, spiritual proximity to the Most High will make you realize it is a lie. It will make you realize 6 figures is nothing. 7 figures is nothing. Owning multiple homes is nothing. Flying next week because you just fancy a break and making sure that it's a 5-star hotel, you're flying business, you're living the life is nothing, because actually nothing is impossible with God. Your current life is based on, let it not be based on, rather, from a place of lack. There is no lack in the kingdom of God, but there are spiritual rules. And this is why I also actively encourage fasting and praying, because ladies, darlings, some ancestors have done the absolute most in making sure right now you are living in a limited mindset state, that right now that there is a cap over your wealth. Fasting, praying, reading the word will ultimately change that. The more time you spend with the Most High, the more you realize that there isn't a cap to this. So that is a very, very important one. The second one is online. I appreciate not everyone has access to women who are doing great things. Not everyone can say, yep, I know a woman who makes 6 figures a month every single month without fail. Not everyone can say, I know a woman who actually ships multiple containers and sells and owns and does this. But the online world can help you. Proximity to, and I'm going to say specifically, the black girls, whether you're in America, whether you're in Africa, whether you're in Europe, those black women who are doing the thing, you need to have proximity to them. You need to, I'm not only talking about black girl luxury here. Black girl luxury is one aspect, because that is the aspect of you seeing people buy or do things. I'm talking about the ones who are taking the trips, the ones who you see are opening the business unapologetically. They're on their second business, they're on their third business, they're doing the things. And this is really important. And yes, can we just caveat, we don't know what's always going on behind closed doors, but I know enough women who are actually doing the thing, and there's nothing sinister or untoward going behind closed doors. It is actually them and God who has built their empire. Online exposure should nudge you to have online proximity, should nudge you to have spiritual proximity and physical proximity. Because what that should show you is, it's possible for them. They do not have two heads. Therefore, it is possible for me. You have to be intentional with your circle. Who you know is who you become. And look at your online world as enabling you to have a wide circle of influence. Who you know is who you become. Who is influencing you in becoming that girl? You have to be so intentional with your proximity in the online world. If all you are hearing her talk about is my man, my man, my man, stop watching that woman. You have no business with that proximity. And the thing with online proximity, the reason I started off with physical proximity, as a woman, you should never put yourself in a position where you are vicariously watching others succeed. You have to get off the phone and go and live physical proximity. If you desire to go to Europe, you've seen the girlies go to Mykonos, you've seen the girlies go to Saint-Tropez, but you don't even know what the beach in Saint-Tropez is called. You don't even know any restaurant in Saint-Tropez. Your feet have never set foot in any of the beach clubs. And my French is so bad, but it's Pampelon Beach. But if you only watch the girls go to Mykonos, you don't even have a favourite hotel in Mykonos. You've never been. You are not practicing good online proximity and exposure. Good online proximity and exposure is you see, you put the phone down and you go and live your life. If you are just stuck watching the girls live their life, you are doing a bad work on online and exposure and proximity to a luxury life. It only works if you go and do the thing. It's like watching someone on a treadmill and sitting on your sofa and somehow wondering why you're not losing the weight. Women, we need to do better. You must always be actively doing something to see the results. And the reason that spiritual exposure and proximity is in the middle, life is fully spiritual. I can't sugarcoat that. So in the physical, when you're going out to the restaurants, when you're looking at the apartment block that you may want to buy, when you're going to the hotels, when you're going to try the diamonds, when you're going to test drive the car, you must make sure sandwiched in between is the spiritual work with God. For with God, you are nothing. And with God, nothing is impossible. Anytime someone wants to say, oh, but you're not going to know, but God. And I stand on the fact proximity and exposure will change your life and determines your ability to fully have a luxurious life.